Good evening, everyone. I see there's at least like 4 or 5 people on the stream, and I know
Yay! Mr. Right Dragon's here.
Yeah, of course, as always.
Of course, as always. We love seeing him, though.
I know. I'm just saying. We know we have our loyal viewers. So,
yep.
You know.
And he's doing good. That's good to hear, man. We're doing good as well.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of new stuff tonight.
Got some weird stuff going on. Got some water cool, alpha cool, bits power, and then we also got some new cases that we actually don't have yet. Eventually, I believe we'll be drop shipping them, and we just kind of want to know what you guys think. They kind of send them to us to say, hey, show them off and get your customers interested in them, kind of thing. It's from Dark Flash. If any of you guys have heard of them, I know a lot of their stuff's on Amazon right now. If any of you guys remember seeing the build that Mods by BenQ he did for us for QuakeCon, those weird fans that are on them, this is the company that actually makes those weird, like, I don't even know how to describe the fans.
Oh, the ones that like don't have a frame, really. Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of just go from the center to like basically the mount points on the radiator, and that's it. There's no real actual frame on the outside. They look pretty cool. I know those are one of the fans that we're going to grab from them because we knew a lot of people were interested in them. Tomorrow's my B-day. I feel old. You're not that old, Raggy Dragon. But anyways, yeah, we're going to grab a few of their fans. Most likely drop ship their cases. They're from California. And they got some pretty nice options. Not horrible price. I think this one's like $130 and this one's like $85. And then they have, I think, at least 10 to 15 more. So there's quite a few. But anyways, we can get started.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good deal with this Dark Flash group. They contacted us kind of through the Facebook, and we've been working with them a little bit. We're trying to get some of their products. Yeah. Hank doesn't seem too interested, although I think they do have a variety of different looking stuff.
Yeah, for their prices, I mean, these cases, for the most part, I thought were pretty customizable. I mean, there are like the tempered glass, which isn't, but there is some stuff on here that I kind of liked what they did. And
oh yeah, the cases, yeah, I got the link in the description, so you guys can check those out if you want to start with those. They're pretty, I mean, I guess you can't say generic, but they're pretty, much what the industry is putting out there these days. But it seems to be pretty reasonable priced, and as far as I can tell, they use good materials. I haven't handled them in person like Garrett has.
I think they're great. I mean, in my honest opinion, this is the Phantom, and this one over here is the T20, which they call it. I preferably like this one with a tempered glass on it. It does have, let me make sure there wasn't anything. There is 4mm tempered glass on the side. Let me move this back so you guys can see a little more of it right now. But there is tempered glass on the side, the front, and the back side. Matthew, turn off your... But anyways, and it comes with these 6 fans. So, I mean, right
yeah, no, that's what I saw right away. It's got 6 fans in it. That's pretty
and they got
decent
nice
for a
right
$130 case.
Yeah. I mean, and they... So, I kind of just have this hooked up by their little fan control that comes with it, which is nice. It comes with a little fan controller that controls both the RGB and the fan, so...
That's pretty nice. Yeah, Shona said he thought they were Lian Li ripoff, or the Landcool ripoff. And I think, I don't think they're a direct ripoff, but yeah, as I was saying, they're pretty much kind of like the standard looking case that you find on the market these days.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, it's... In my opinion, with the whole tempered glass trend and everything, it's kind of hard to make a case that's different by any noticeable degree. So, my biggest thing was how many fans you can actually fit. It's got it doesn't look like that PSU shroud will allow you to put a 480 in the front.
No.
Or if you rip that thing out and mod it a little bit, you can fit a 480 in the front and a 240 in the back, as long as your motherboard isn't going to get in the way.
Yep.
So it's kind of got it's got different fan mounting from what I've seen mainly from the cases.
Well, you can even mount
dual exhaust.
fans.
So it has 240 on the back and a 360, room for 360 on the top, probably, or
240 on the top. You can do
240 on the top, and then
240 on the
I
top.
bet you can fit a 280 too.
Yeah, probably. 240 on the top, 240 on the back, and a 360 in the front is what they said. But there is 4 fans. They are 120, so I mean, you definitely could fit a 480.
If you either modded that PSU shroud or pulled it out and made your own or something like that, you could easily fit a 480 in the front of that case, which isn't really what you see that often, which is kind of why I liked this case, because finding cases that support 480 millimeter radiators is pretty few and far between. Mostly the standard is just 360s wherever you can put them. So
yeah, and it looks like this right here. I mean, it is a cutout that is, I guess, so you can see your power supply or whatnot. But if you do have a small enough power, I mean, honestly, you really don't need that small of a power supply. But this is a perfect spot for like one of the little LCD screens. I mean, it even has like there's a nice piece of metal right here, so you can attach it to. I mean, if you can see, I don't know, I'm trying to like, I mean, like there is this metal right here that flaps, that goes back into the case, so you definitely could mount a one of the little LCD screens there if you wanted to, which would be pretty cool.
Usually the type of person that always just rips the PSU shroud out, but yeah, there's always that option too.
Yeah, and as you see, I mean, that is
the layout is different. Like, I mean, it's a pretty plain, regular, like it looks like a 570X or whatever you want to call it from Corsair and whatnot, but it's got a different layout. So I mean, they did do something different with it. I'm sure it's some sort of rebrand from China.
Of course.
But I mean, I don't know. That's what everybody does. So
yeah.
I'm glad that it's a little bit different. At least you can get a different rebranded case now.
Yeah. The fans do have a few different modes. I mean, it is does have motherboard syncing, so you can.
And they have the RGB. So
yeah,
those are nice. 6 RGB fans that come with it. That's pretty good for. I remember when I first got into computers and stuff, that is one of the things that I based my case purchase off of, was how many fans it actually came with, even though now these days I'd rather just buy the fans that I want and ditch the ones that come with it. But for somebody that's, like I said, just getting into it and you want to save some money, 6 fans to come with the case, I mean, you don't need more than 6 fans for most builds, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
multiple different modes.
Yeah, and Benjamin said, I feel like all PSU shots should just be removable. Yeah, I do too, man. I wish that either they use just screws or somehow made them like slide in or whatever, but most, if not all, are usually riveted in some portions of it. So kind of annoying, but that's where modding comes in, and most of us like to do that. So
yeah, this one definitely has rivets in the back.
Yeah,
so
rivets through it. Yeah,
you definitely.
I mean, you can always drill those out and then like say bolt it if you still wanted to use that PSU shot and you just want to like cut it up a little bit, pull it out and cut it up, and then put it back in. You can do that, but I mean, you can also rivet it back together. That's not hard either. It's just kind of annoying to see it not that easily removable in most of these new cases.
Yeah, and it does have. In the inside, there are at least 3 different spots for SSDs if you wanted to mount them in the front. There is also, even on the back side, a little HD
some more
cage, HD and
SSD,
I see. So you can
so you got a regular 3.5-inch drive cage, which is the first thing I pull out of most cases. However, I know some of you guys still use 3.5-inch drives, so more power to you, I guess. If you need that in there, they got it. So yeah, pretty standard.
Yep.
What's the T20 like? The T20 is, because this one is $130, which is, in my opinion, a pretty good steal for. I mean, it's not crazy huge. It's got that 480, or 4 120s in the front, so it does make it pretty tall.
Yeah,
so it's pretty standard size.
It's 21.5 inches tall, and I think it's 16 inches wide, and the depth is like 8 inches or so. So I mean, it's really not that bad. It's not huge. Definitely other options, like the fan controller has at least 8 spots for their fan controllers, and then there's 2 spots for LEDs, and I believe both ends are for DRGB. So not bad.
So it even comes with a controller. You got 6 fans, tempered glass all around. $130, not even that bad at all. So we'll be drop shipping these cases. We've also got the T20 here, which is it's still an ATX tower, but it's a little bit smaller. It's definitely priced a lot lower. This guy only comes with, how many fans does he come with?
Just the one in the back. With one, And the only downside to this one I see, as for the fan, is the fan that's in it is strictly just straight RGB. There's no mode to it or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, that was my one about this one.
So you can just pick a color, or does it always cycle through the colors?
It just stays RGB, kind of like the front does. See, the thing is, the front, if you can tell, there's like this front RGB right here.
Yeah.
But if you can tell, also there's this RGB, for the desk, that the accent lighting.
It's got lighting underneath it. That's cool.
But there is a button on top for the RGB, so it changes between just RGB to fading RGB to fading red and white, and so on and so forth. Purples and all different colors, all the way through.
That's really interesting. I wonder, can you pull that front panel out? I kind of want to see what kind of airflow you get through that thing.
No. It's actually mounted. It has those plastic rivets that I have to.
Should be able to, I would hope it just pulls off.
Let me get the tempered glass off the side.
Yeah, that might help. But I wonder, so where does the air get in through the front of that? Is it in the middle there where the lighting is?
There is top little mesh screen up here.
Is that it? And then top and bottom?
The bottom there definitely is hole. There's a big it's not like all the way at the bottom. There's a gap right here.
Yeah. No, I was wondering though if it has anything in where those LEDs are in the middle.
No, there's nothing. This is just straight LEDs all the way down through it. There's no actual I'd
definitely be tempted to mod that front. It's a cool looking front panel. However, it seems like it'd probably be pretty lackluster for airflow.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, my fat fingers can't get in here right now and undo this for you. I'm sorry there, Matt.
Can't pull it off from the bottom of it?
Mm-mm. But this does have, on the bottom, there is a screen for your filter also. It has one that slide in.
You gotta have the dust filters. It's pretty standard these days. So,
for
$85, it's still not a bad deal. You get nice tempered glass side panel. I think the RGB accent lighting it's pretty nice. It's somewhat unique.
Nice little SSD trays that go in it. There's also underneath on the back side, there is, with the power supply, another little hard drive bay, so you can put a hard drive in there. What else?
Oh wait, this is actually a micro ATX case.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm looking at this on the pictures and it's only showing a micro ATX board fitting. Wait.
And then
I think they don't know their terminology on this.
Is it their listing or is it someone else's? I wonder. But
no, it's by Dark Flash. They just have the picture of where everything goes, and they kind of put squares as to what motherboards fit where. And mini ATX isn't even a thing. There's, I'm not sure what size that is. And then they've got ITX as being the biggest board that fits in there, which also isn't true. Micro ATX is bigger than, I don't know. It's confusing, but it looks like all it fits is a micro ATX board. Does it have the standoffs pre-installed, Garrett?
There are standoffs that are pre-installed here, but they do come with a little baggie. Where did I put it? Right here. That does have additional.
How far down do those go? Does it have 9 standoffs in it, or does it only have 6?
1, 2, 3. There's 9.
Well, then it fits an ATX board. I don't know.
There's standoffs all the way up here, one here, and there's one all the way down. I think you're going to.
If it has 9 standoffs, then it fits an ATX board. So that's, I don't know. They don't understand motherboard form factors, or they took this diagram from China or something and didn't actually look at it because it's the diagram's confusing as all hell. So it fits ATX. Now that we've determined that.
Yeah, and it also comes with, this is actually a little GPU anti-sag bracket, so you can.
Oh, that's cool.
Slide
I like those ones that come off the pan. Oh yeah, that's exactly the kind of GPU brackets I like to see. German and I made one sort of like that, similar for your build or whatever, where it just comes off, the main board panel there. and they just come straight out. They're super like not noticeable, and that's what I like most about them. All these new GPU brackets or anti-sag brackets, whatever you want to call them, are usually like huge and gaudy and RGB. And I guess if you're into that, then sure, more power to you. But I like the simple ones where you can't see them, and it still holds up the GPU just as well, and then you don't get any sag with your GPU, which is really good for you guys that water cool because those blocks get heavy.
Yeah, and this can fit either a 360 in the front, a 240 on the top, and they even say that you could fit a 120 on the back. I mean, which you technically can, but I don't know how much space you're gonna get. But yeah, let me turn this so you can.
Yeah, like Bohr said, some of those aftermarket GPU braces might as well be scaffolding. I feel that, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like them, and it makes it part of their build, but I don't know. I'd rather just have the simple, not seen solution.
Yeah, seeing the
overall, I mean,
just stays red, green, blue. I mean, it's not bad looking, but it's just, I mean.
Yeah, like I said, when you first get in, yeah, it's a free fan. So when you're first getting into building PCs, and like say this is your first case, so you wanted to stick to a budget, like, oh, now I get a free fan, so it saves you some money. That's all good, but yeah, the rest of us would probably, if we're going to buy this case, we just ditch the fan and put in whatever we want to use.
Yeah, I mean,
although it seems like when I was looking at those,
right?
Yeah, $85 for regular old ATX tower case, fits the standard, stuff. And I like the PSU shroud. I mean, it's not really anything crazy different for anybody, but it's nice and plain. Like they've got that cover or whatever that is on the bottom there on the front side.
This one.
Yeah. Whatever that cover, that's nice. I think it cleans it up, and it doesn't make it look like the same as every other case.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got the nice little SSD trays on the top of it. So
yeah,
pretty simple PSU shroud, but I think it's pretty elegant.
Yeah, you can they're just in there with thumb screws. You just take them out, and even these like standoffs that are on there, they come off, so you can. I'm pretty sure you
just pull those off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a fan, to be honest, of even showing off 2.5-inch SSDs. Like, I really don't use 3.5-inch drives, and whenever I use a 2.5-inch drive, it's always in the back. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, with SSDs, you can literally just chuck them underneath your PSU shroud, and it doesn't matter. They're not mechanical, so you're not going to damage them. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's not like there's something really flashy either. It's not like
Vor said, not using RGB SSDs. So yeah, they do. I have seen that some brands do make an RGB SSD, which is cool. So I guess if you have one of those, then that's a nice little SSD tray for you. Otherwise, I just throw them in the back. It's not really a component that I like to show off personally. Some people are into it, but. M.2 maybe, but now they've got so many heat sinks for those things too, you don't even know what's underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a piece of wood under there and people would think you got a sick SSD.
Yeah. But I mean, like for the price, the mini one, the T20 is $85.
I honestly almost want that one just to mod it because
I think that's what our plan is with them. I think Jeremy is going to, in the end, mod them so basically people can see what we can offer for water cooling with it and what you basically fit in there. Maybe do like a simple run without even having a board in there, just to be like, okay, here's where all this would mount. And
no, they're nothing crazy. They're nothing new really in my opinion, but they're well priced and they seem to be decently made at least. Oh, and actually if you look on the T20, these are AIGO rebranded cases, from what I can tell, because they have a product picture, and instead of the Dark Flash logo on the side of the PSU shroud, it says AIGO. So,
and that's what I'm curious. I wonder if they either bought that.
If that's like a parent company of Dark Flash, or if they're just rebranding these.
I noticed that and wasn't too sure on exactly what that entailed. I didn't know if it was,
but I mean, like we said right away, everyone knows these are rebranded to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't even know that before, that those RGB SSDs get hot because it makes sense. I mean, the RGBs put off heat, so that's kind of funny.
So next.
Yeah, I really like that front LED. I feel like with that front panel, although it seems to really suck for airflow, I feel like it's simple enough where you could, mod in some slots or some nice holes or whatever, and you could get it to work a little bit better in your favor, and it also has the nice aesthetic look. So, yeah, pretty good cases. We'll be drop shipping these. I'm pretty sure we should have all of the different cases that we have on this Amazon listing that I linked.
Yeah, I think those are the ones we're gonna do, and we might even do. Actually, Jeremy bought one of their cases a couple months ago, and I don't think it's in that listing that I sent you. It's one of their other ones, and they're mini ITX cases. They're tiny little things. And I know they have like a pink one, a white one, and a black one. I think there might be blue also. But Jeremy, I think he said he paid $60 for it, like with shipping and everything. Like,
what the heck?
He said he actually liked it. He actually said that, the design on it.
Yeah. I mean, you can never expect too much from $60 cases, but yeah, if Jerm liked it, then I can't imagine it's anything crazy bad.
Yeah, he said it's honestly just for, he wants to mod it. He wants to see what he can do with it. It's basically a blank canvas.
Well, and that's exactly how I'd approach those cases too. Although some people might, like I said, they're maybe more budget oriented for those first-time PC builders. In my opinion, it's a nice cheap case for a modder because it's cheap. If you mess it up, not really a huge heartbreak. It's not like you're breaking a Lian Li Tau 2.0 or whatever, and you just are out $2,500. This is something that you can hack up and have some fun with, practice your modding skills, and still have a case that stands out, looks a little different from what most people have.
Agreed. So moving on, since we kind of over that now, we got a bunch of DRGB stuff from AlphaCool. We have like their Aurora fittings. Well, they're not really fittings. They're just they're fittings for the tubing, just to light the tubing up. So it's not really a fitting, but it's still kind of under the fitting category for some reason. They have
so these. Oh, they just go around the tubing, right?
Yeah, it's not really a fitting. Yeah. It's not. You're not actually screwing in or attaching the tubing to it. It's not a
compression fitting like some other brands have. Okay.
Yeah.
I was confused at first. I thought they were just another. I thought they just updated their product or something.
Because we have them, and we had them in just standard colors, and then they made RGB ones. Now they finally released DRGB, and they've done it for the fitting Aurora lights, the reservoir one, and then this is actually for the block. This one is specifically for their CPU blocks, so it is DRGB, so you can.
Okay, so none of their XPX blocks have come with the DRGB ring. Then I'm thinking so far.
Yeah, none of them.
Now you could, which is actually, I mean, that's not bad at all. I mean, $16, and you can update your AlphaCool block if that's what you have, and then you got DRGB. So.
And as you can tell, it is extremely bright LEDs.
I was going to say, but they're all inward facing, which is what I really like to see. There's been some blocks where the LEDs are facing a goofy way or whatever, and it's just hideous. Whereas if you have it inward facing and you have either their satin plexi or their plexi block, should glow really nicely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't you don't see the actual diodes, so you don't get blinded by the light.
Yeah, this is the DRGB reservoir ring. These
What's
are
up,
actually
Willie?
pretty nice. I know that this one, I think is the 60 mil. I know that they do have
they make up 50, yeah.
Yeah, which we don't have the light version right now. This is currently.
Well, that's fine in my opinion because pretty much everybody else uses 60 millimeter reservoirs. Mm-hmm. So that's why I decided this would be the perfect item to give away tonight for you guys, since quite a few people are still using 60 millimeter diameter tube reservoirs. So yeah, the inside diameter is 60 millimeters, outside is 68. And it's digital RGB, of course, so it's 5-volt, 3-pin DRGB.
Yep.
I think it has the standard connector, so whatever DRGB
it has their
set
standard
up,
connector, and it also has their little one that they use for their Aquaros or whatever it is that they attach to.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That little weird 3-pin thing.
Yep. No, not bad. I think those are pretty cool. I haven't personally tested them on a lot of tube reservoirs, so I don't know how well they actually light up your coolant and whatnot. I'm sure if you have an opaque coolant, it's probably pretty hit or miss, depending on what color opaque coolant it is. However, if you have a translucent coolant or transparent coolant, from the product pictures, it appears to light it up pretty well. They show it in the middle of their reservoir tube in the product pictures. I'd be more inclined to put it either at the top or the bottom. So I guess it would give a different lighting effect. With the one in the middle, it shows that the light kind of shines throughout the whole thing. But at the bottom of the top, it's supposed to get some pretty good diffusion by the end of the tube.
Or you just get two of them and put one at the top and one at the bottom.
Two of them. Oof. So I don't know. I kind of like them. There's a lot of tube reservoirs, especially with like the Singularity Computers ones. There's no RGB option. I know EK, a few other brands have all come out with their RGB, either pump tops or reservoirs, whatever. So you get those options built in with those ones. But if you guys don't have one of those reservoirs, this is a pretty simple, cheap solution to get your reservoir to light up. Which a lot of people do, just because usually the reservoir is a pretty good focal point in a build for most builds. So to get some DRGB lighting in there, just updates everything.
And same thing with the little fittings. And I think there's only 3 companies that do this. They do it. Have like the fitting RGB. Thermaltake, and then Bikeski has theirs. But
I even forgot Bikeski did.
See, the thing is, Bikeski and Thermaltakes, both of theirs are actual fittings.
Yeah, I was going to say, these ones are a little different, and I would like to think that they'd work a little better just because they aren't actual fittings, so just like a collar that goes around your tubing.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a little bit more convenient to throw in places. I'm not sure. I haven't used any of those, to be honest. The biggest thing with all those RGB fittings or collars like these is you have a bunch more cables, obviously, to run. So you always got to think about that. So like placement for them, you usually want to put them in a place where you can easily route the cable out of sight. However, I have a feeling that since they aren't actual compression fittings, maybe you can get a little more wiggle room out of them. You can slide them around a little more, and like they don't have to be at the end of a tube.
Yeah.
Think about that part for the next time. Nice RGB tube fitting. Yeah, like I said, I haven't ever played with them too terribly much. I would like to, so maybe I'll have to get some of these and see how they work out. But they're definitely a fun little accessory if you guys are into lighting up your builds.
Yeah, the only thing I've actually heard about those, and it's kind of an obvious thing, is that they're going to work better with satin tubing, or if you
that is what I've always. I forget who's done. Several people have done videos on it where they've used those, and they've literally shown that like they're like pretty subpar on your clear acrylic or PETG. However, if you do get a satin tubing or you decide to sand them, we have a video on that, I believe, to make your tubing satin. Then the light will disperse much better. We should, or we had a stream.
Yeah, we did a live stream where I showed.
Yep. So you guys can pick up that sandpaper and stuff from us and make satin tubing. I did that with my last build, just to make it a little different. Really easy to do, and if you're picking up these light fittings, might be something you want to consider as well.
I mean, in general, even if you don't use those fittings, if you frost your tubing, make it satin, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely going to pick up light better.
Oh yeah, definitely. So. It dulls out the color of your coolant a little bit. However, if you do have any kind of lights in your system, it does light up a lot nicer.
Yeah.
8 liters of coolant, so I'm good on coolant. You're crazy, Shota.
So
is this last but not least? Yeah, these are really cool. At first, I was like, what the heck are these? But now I realize what they are. They're Southbridge water blocks, which is really cool to see. In a sense, a lot of you might be like, well, that's kind of old. A lot of people back in the day would come out with specific Southbridge blocks, or otherwise you'd find mono blocks, which were true mono blocks that were full cover motherboard blocks that would have that included. However, this is kind of an updated version on all of that from Watercool. So I know one of you guys' favorite block brands. It's definitely one of mine. It's by far some of the best quality blocks. I wonder how much that little one weighs right there that you got in here. I bet it feels pretty heavy.
They got some weight to them. This one doesn't because it's just got the acetal top on it, but...
Yeah, the other ones, they're all metal. Yes. Pretty crazy little blocks. I'm sure they perform great. The coolest thing that I was looking at them before we started this stream, they are universal. So they fit pretty much any Southbridge. At least that's what Watercool claims. I'm not, positive that they fit on every Southbridge, but Watercool, they aren't dummies over there, so they know what they're doing.
Just from talking with Jacob that works at Watercool, and I don't know the guy that owns Watercool. I can't remember his name. But he just says the way he is, he's so precise on stuff that he's going to do his research, and that's kind of why...
they don't release a product that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's why they tend to always have, like, updates and stuff like that, and you can buy additional parts to just update your stuff and not have to rebuy
Yeah.
everything.
What I didn't actually notice until you started grabbing those is that 2 of those have the ports on one side, and then 2 of them have ports in the middle. Kind of interesting. I guess I don't know how much of a difference that makes as far as tube routing goes. That would be my only concern with these Southbridge blocks, is that a lot of you that go to that extent of water cooling are more than likely to have a water cooled GPU, so that could get in the way. Not sure how well that will work, but I know there's some people out there that are pretty adamant on water cooling everything in their system, and it seems that Southbridge cooling is just going more and more away as we keep getting further along in the tech world. Yeah. Although I know Gigabyte's coming out with, or Aorus, whatever you want to call it, is coming out with that fully water-cooled motherboard, but I don't expect that to be like a huge thing. I mean, it looks cool and everything, and I'm sure people will buy it, but this is a solution for you guys out there that don't have the money for that kind of a board and still want to water cool all the stuff in your build.
The one thing I did notice about these that is kind of cool, and I've never seen it, is like most water blocks have fins. This actually has
probably doesn't.
It has just like little divots at the bottom. I don't know if I can get.
Probably hard to see in the camera.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I almost caught a glimpse of it, I think.
If you can tell.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not really a crazy flow design. Southbridges don't get that hot typically anyways. So it's not like you're trying to get this because you need to cool down your Southbridge more. It's more the sense of, keeping all the things in your loop or in your rig at the same temperature. I'm sure it cuts down temperature on Southbridge. The only thing I think it's a little different is that a lot of these new boards have pretty fancy Southbridges, although I guess cheaper boards might not. But a lot of them have, pretty fancy stuff in their Southbridge, so some people might not be into pulling that off and putting this on. Otherwise, for those of you that are, it should be a pretty simple installation. If you do look at your Southbridge, it may be hard to tell, but most, if not all, do use that mounting pattern, as you can see with the block there, with just the 2 screws. So pretty simple stuff, should fit on pretty much every board as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and there is additional mounting stuff in here. There is like another...
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They have a few different mounting ways of doing it. Shouldn't be too difficult to get on there.
You got your little thermal pad and Allen keys and screws for it, but there's also...
A thermal pad? I would use paste, but I guess I don't...
yeah.
That's...
But they also have like...
If you're going all the way to the length of water blocking, it definitely, in my opinion, guys, use some paste. Thermal pads are fine. I'm sure you get away with it. And that is probably what's between your Southbridge and whatever Southbridge cooler you have on it. Is probably a thermal pad, although maybe some brands still use thermal paste. I haven't torn apart a Southbridge in forever. I have no reason to.
Honestly, it's probably just water-cooled being water-cooled, wanting to assist and being like, okay, this is good enough to, be used with this. So. Yeah,
and I mean, that's what they're saying in the comments here, is that most chipsets aren't putting out that much wattage. So, and I think the biggest difference you'd see it is if you're one of those people that has a bunch of storage, and after a certain point, if not all, I guess I don't know a ton about motherboards, but usually your controller for your storage goes through a Southbridge. So if you have a crazy amount of storage and you're doing like a lot of read writing and stuff like that, transferring files, maybe you could find more practical reasons to get this, just because maybe your chipset does get pretty toasty, and when things get toasty, they don't run as good. So if you do want the most performance, maybe it's something to lessen water-cooled RAM. Yeah, dude, I used to run water-cooled RAM forever. I still do have that PC. I don't know. It's something to do, in my opinion. Like I said, if you want to water-cool everything in a build, you really can't say you've water-cooled everything if you haven't water-cooled the Southbridge. So there you go. Now you can't get beat in the comments from all your other internet EP hungry friends.
Yeah. I mean, and like you said, I mean, it's just something to do. It's adding to the industry and style.
More parts to play with. I like it.
Exactly.
More variety, and they're not even that badly. I mean, $40 or so. They range from 36 to 47. Pretty cheap. In my opinion, for a way quality block. Water-cooled is some of the highest quality blocks, so you don't have to worry about it being cheap. So So, see, I would love to see you guys use this. So if you guys do end up getting some and put them in your builds, be sure to share pictures. I want to see people actually use them. I want to see what kind of tube routing comes out of this, just because, like I said, with the GPU blocks and everything else going into builds these days, I feel like that's the only challenge. Although I'm sure some of you guys are talented enough to make it look really good.
Yeah. And moving on to our last and final item, we've got the Bits Power 90-degree tubing. I believe this is acrylic. Let me make sure so I'm not saying.
Yep, it's all pre-bent acrylic. I wouldn't see much point in pre-bent PETG in my opinion, just because it's so cheap and like not that. I like acrylic way more. Ever since I switched from PETG to acrylic, I feel like acrylic it's not that much harder to use and it's way better. Mm-hmm. However, this is a whole new spin on it because these are all pre-bent, as Garrett said. Comes in 12, 14, and 16 millimeter OD acrylic tubing, so they're all pre-bent 90 pieces. And it looks like their lengths are 220 by 305 millimeters. So at overall, it's like almost a 600 millimeter stick, and then it's got a 90 located about 2/3 down the way. Yeah. So if you guys are into rigid tubing, and I even saw a post recently about this where someone was just like, I'm sick of rigid tubing because I just don't want to have to sit there and bend it all the time. If you guys are into rigid tubing and you're getting to that point, maybe something to pick up for you guys, just because it does save a lot of hassle. From what I can tell in the video here from Garrett holding it, looks like perfect bends. Yeah. I'm sure they all match, which is another. I mean, 90s aren't incredibly hard to do. However, to get all your 90s to match perfectly is pretty difficult if you don't have a nice mandrel setup, or you're doing the same technique throughout the whole build. So if you do want all matching 90 runs, that's definitely something to consider because they shouldn't vary much, if at all. So, how many pieces come in this? I would assume it's a few pieces.
Four pieces?
Okay, so it's four. I was going to say, because the 16 millimeter OD was $30. That can't be one piece, I was assuming.
No, there's 4 pieces that are pre-bent in there.
So yeah, you could probably get, if you got a pack of that and another couple packs of just straight tube with a build, I'm sure you could get quite a ways and not have to do much bending at all if you planned your runs right and you had the right fittings and everything. That would probably save you a lot of hassle, and like I said, it would make it look really clean and uniform, since theirs, I'm sure, are done on some sort of machine that just bends it.
Yeah.
It
has to be.
It doesn't mess
there
up.
By hand bending all this.
No, there's no one sitting there just bending that stuff by hand.
Not worth it.
No, so pretty cool stuff for those of you guys that are looking for less of a challenge but still want to use rigid tubing. Even for a beginner, it's something to consider. I mean, not the cheapest pack of tubing you can get. However, if you are nervous about your first time bending and like running out of tubing, which obviously gets expensive.
You might go through $60 in tubing just bending it yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, once if you start messing up bends and stuff and you get nervous, you're not confident in your bends, or you don't like how they turn out, this could in a sense be a way to save money.
Yeah, this in the end. I mean, well, if you even think about it, if you buy this pack of bend tubing over buying the 90-degree fittings you would need to do just, straight.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure, actually. I didn't even think about it that way. Some people are totally into rigid tubing or just even acrylic tubing, but they don't want to bend it, just because either they don't like bending or they're not good at it, whatever. If you buy fittings instead of this, you'll by far spend way more money making 90s out of fittings than if you were to just buy this pack of tubing. You just cut it down to whatever size you need, and away you go.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I know we have Alpha Cool that's pre-bent. I don't know the price on that, but I think with the Alpha Cool, there's only one piece in each box. So it's not even like it's a 3-pack.
Does Alpha Cool sell, like, acrylic tubing that's pre-bent?
I don't know if they have acrylic.
I was going to say, I know a lot of the metal tubing, a lot of the brands that make metal tubing all have pre-bent metal tubing, which is nice to see, because bending metal tubing takes some skill, if not a lot of luck as well, and tools. So
according to Ben, when I've talked to him about him bending metal, it's a lot of luck also. Because
I was gonna say, one is luck, and two, you gotta you're pretty limited with bending metal. So those ones come pre-bent like this, but it's kind of cool to see just plain old acrylic coming pre-bent.
Yeah, because it's not really like with the metal, it's not really the bending it; it's the fact that it's copper plated. or chrome plated.
It's
Excuse me. So it
nickel or
chips
chrome
and everything and whatnot, and that's what Ben's told me. He's like, it's kind of just luck that it doesn't, and you kind of just bend a bunch and hope that none of them crack. And honestly, I don't think, like, if you look at a lot of Ben's builds, and anyways, his
Yeah,
bends
you
are
don't
not,
you don't get a 90. You don't get
Yeah.
a 90 when you bend it like
Yeah,
how
you
Ben
get
was
it.
doing it.
you gotta bend
You get
the
large swooping
copper
bends.
before you chrome plate it, and then
Yeah.
you get that nice 90-degree chrome plated build, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So there you have it, folks. We are going to give away one of these RGB rings for your reservoir tonight that we just saw earlier, the Alpha Cool 60 millimeter. So if you guys have been in a stream before, you would know that we do a trivia question here, and the first person to answer the trivia question in chat is the one who wins the product. Tonight, well, like I said, 60 millimeter digital RGB ring from Alpha Cool. If you have a tube reservoir, perfect little addition to your build, light it up a little bit better, and I guess away we go. So if you guys are ready, answer the question in chat. Tonight, the question will be, how many LEDs are in the ring that we're giving away? This Alpha Cool Aurora LED ring, 60 millimeter digital RGB. How many individual LEDs or diodes are in the ring? Oh, look at that, Mr. Ryu Dragon right away. You're crazy fast, dude. I always forget your name. Let me see. Because did you just win?
didn't you win like 2 streams ago? Because you won the
Let me see.
gummies.
Dang it. Mr.
Well,
Ryu
you
Dragon. I'm
still
trying to find him
haven't had anybody say
on
the correct
Discord.
answer after him.
I was going to say, no. So, last month? Oh,
Was it
okay.
last
So let me
month?
see.
But how
Let me see.
far ago last month? Was it a month ago?
Here we go, Ryu
Over a
Dragon. 9/12.
Oh, you're short of a
Here,
week,
let me see
but-
what the actual date of the stream was. That's when we talked last.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't know what you.
Oh yeah, that was actually the date of the stream, was 9/12. So technically it's only been 3 weeks. If that's the case, Mr. Ryu Dragon, would you like to pick someone in chat who can win this, since you answered correctly and nobody else did? But I would hope that you wouldn't mind passing on the sweet prize.
The winnings.
What did you win last time here? You got the gummies and then
Don't remember what else was
something.
in there.
What does that
There's
say?
something else.
TX360 PZ?
Huh?
And a chin. I don't know what that is.
I don't
even know what he won.
Oh, he won
What is that?
the Barrow 90-degree fitting, the rotary thing.
Oh, and barrel. Okay. I was
Gummies.
gonna say there's just product numbers in here, and I'm like, I don't even know what those are. But yeah, Mr. Ryu Dragon, if you would like to
I gotcha.
just pick a random person in chat here that actually answered the question. We got John, Mr. Great, another John. This is John Beck, Cardim, and James Nickel. Oh, Dwight. You want Dwight to win? Let me see. Dwight won a little while ago, but I think it's been No, Dwight won the week after you did. Dang it. You can't pick Dwight. I'm sorry, Dwight. Oh, no. Pick someone who hasn't won.
And just so you guys know, it does say Alpha Cool on it, but it.
Yeah, there is that.
Huh?
There is that it does say Alpha Cool on it, so if you guys aren't into branding. But it's pretty
But-
simple. Is it on both sides?
No, it's on one side, but
So
it
you can
does
turn
come
it.
off pretty easy. Just so you know. Remember
Mr. James
did that
Nickel?
when you were down here on Hanksville?
What's up, Carolina Customs? Yeah, I was gonna say, Dwight. I'm sorry, it took me forever to get you in there, but you're probably should be coming, Mr. Dwight. I think, yeah, James Nickel. All right, we know James. James is a good guy. He hasn't won in a while, if ever. So thank you, Mr. Ryu Dragon, for passing
I was
along
saying
the
he said
kindness.
John Nichols, though. Like, we're gonna have to give it.
Which one? Yeah, James. So yeah, no, James is a great guy. Glad he was able to stop in tonight too. We've been chatting about his upcoming builds and stuff. He's always.
Oh yes, it's pretty pictures. He
Although I guess I don't know how pumped James is. He's a pretty big Bits Power fan. However, I'm sure, honestly, if you put like a piece of electrical tape over that,
No,
you
you
wouldn't.
just scratch
You could
it
cover
off.
up the. You could scratch it off even. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
The build that you did with Jeremy for Hank's son when you're down here, It had
Sure,
holes in there, and Jeremy really was able to scratch it right off.
Just scratch it off. Or yeah, spray paint it even, yeah.
Yeah, or do that.
How's the new Singularity case come along? I haven't gotten too far on it yet. I still gotta finish assembling it. And then I've actually been talking, Willie was in the stream here just a little bit ago, but Willie was talking to me about sending me a bunch of glass tubing for it that he's actually already like bent up and made for the Spectre 2.0. So I might even be going with glass tubing and having someone else do all the work for it. Yeah, and he was telling me that he's sending it, so I have to check his email again. Willie V. I forget. I think he's down in Australia because he's like Daniel's friend. Maybe he's not in Australia. I forget. Willie, if you're still in here, you can let us know. But Willie got in touch with us through Daniel Cannon, the owner of Singularity Computers, and they kind of work together on glass stuff. But he's the one that's, I believe, he's been trying for a while to get his glass tubing to market with us. I think he's still just working out how he produces it and whatnot. It's a long road, but he's what I've seen from him. It's all good glass tubing and glass products. So you guys should be seeing more of that soon. Hopefully next week or something.
That has one of the Singularity Spectres, we did just get in the front manifold and the side ones, so you can order them.
Oh, yeah, because those are additional parts. Because I was going to say, mine I don't believe has the front manifold.
Yeah,
it is a Spectre 2.0.
Yeah, we just got them in like a few days ago, and they'll be going up here shortly. There's been a lot of work on other stuff going on and whatnot.
James, to either just like DM me or shoot me an email about that prize. Either me or Garrett works for that. We can get you in there, and we'll send you out your LED ring. Otherwise, guys, we'll definitely be back next week with more new products. I'll be trying to stream some more stuff. I should have a video coming out for you guys here within the next few days. And I believe we have some more CNC stuff to come out with. I've been working on the CNC, been getting some setbacks too, broke some tools. Had a tool I've broken, so kind of just setback after setback with the CNC lately. But will do. I have an order coming up soon anyways. Thanks, James. That'll be dope. That'll be perfect. But guys, definitely stay tuned, subscribe, and like this video or stream. But definitely subscribe if you guys are looking to catch up with the rest of our content.
Yeah, and sign up for alerts so everyone knows when these videos happen, because we literally give away.
Quite a few people showed up tonight, and it's been some repeat customers. I think there's been some new people too. So glad to see you guys are stopping by. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Great to see you.
I gotta turn it off from my computer because I still haven't.
Oh, you didn't hook up your Stream Deck thing?
Yeah.
I need one of those.
I've been doing other stuff, so it's kind of
fair enough.
But,
all right, guys, but happy water cooling and happy modding. Hope to see you all again soon.
Bye.